Hi everyone, a very good afternoon to all of you. How are you? Hi Sonali, I am so sorry the classes got delayed a little today. Right, so a class worth waiting for, your 5-month VARC strategy. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? Let me set it out for you. We will look at what all you need to prepare for very specifically, very minutely. We'll narrow that down. Okay, how you have to prepare for it. I'll give you a detailed 5-month plan, right? And some general things that you should keep in mind during your prep. These are the things that I'm going to discuss with you today. Okay, so let's begin and let's go to our very first slide. Hi Priyanshi, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you for waiting, guys. Okay, so I think all of you who have been sincere about your CAT prep know at least the pattern of CAT 2022. In case you do not, it's okay. I'm telling you now. But I think for any entrance test, any management entrance test, or otherwise any other entrance test, the first and foremost thing that you should do is understand the pattern. Okay, because otherwise you are just shooting in the dark, right? So here you can see reading comprehension is something that you cannot ignore. Okay, whether you like it, whether you dislike it, whether you don't like reading, does not matter. If you have to ace VARC, in fact, if you have to crack VARC, if you have to clear the cutoffs, you have to attempt some RC passages. You cannot leave them. So you have to be an eclectic reader. You have to solve RC passages every day. No substitute to that. Okay. Then you can see that the other questions are paragraph based questions. So, when you read for your RC passages, in a way you are reinforcing your prep for your VA section as well. For your para-jumbles, para-completion, para-summary, even odd sentence out para-jumbles if they come, for them also. So it's actually helping you for two things. Reading, okay, is helping you not just for RCs but for these sections also. And I'll talk to you later about this, that the sources from which your RC passages are framed are also the common sources from which your VA questions, from which your para-jumbles, para-completion questions are framed, right? So the sources are not that different. Okay, let me just adjust the frame a little so that things are visible to you. Yes. So, okay. I hope now all the numbers are visible to you, right? Okay. So, one more thing that you have to observe here and that you have to keep in mind, I'm sure those who've taken a couple of mocks, you already know this, but in case you haven't, in case you are not well versed with the pattern, then notice that there are some type in the answer questions as well here. Yes? So, these type in the answer questions, they are important because they do not carry any negative marking. So even if, let's say, in the exam, you are unable to form a sequence, a whole sequence of parajumbles. Let's say you know that, okay, 4 is the opening sentence, 2 is the closing sentence. You're unable to decide whether it's 3-1 or 1-3. Please do not leave that question. Just make one out of the two, okay? And just type in that sequence. Even if you do not have the time to attempt the question, just pre-decide a sequence that you're going to type, but do not leave this question type. You should not leave your type in the answer question types. You should type something or the other in them, right? Because they do not carry any negative marking. All the other questions, they do carry negative marking, right? These carry negative marking +3, -1. Now, I see some questions in the chat box. Let me just address them. How to summarize a difficult passage? Okay. If my VA is good, should I go for 2 RCs and VA questions? And if I improve my RCs, I should target for 3 RCs and rest VA questions. So, Vaishnav, a good question that you've asked, and I'm going to address this in a coming slide. Okay. How to summarize a difficult passage? So, Nali, I am sure you attended that session, the understanding an RC passage. We just had it, understanding the theme of an RC passage. We just had it a couple of days back. So just go to that session. There I talk about this only, that how do you capture the essence? How do you first summarize? You first identify the key ideas. That is how you'll come to know the main idea. And when you just list the key ideas, that is a summary of the passage, right? So how to summarize it is something that I've discussed there. Okay. Now, I'm sure that all of you, again, who have taken one mock or who've looked at what the syllabus, what the rough, broad framework of VRC is, know that these two areas are important. By verbal logic, I also mean, I mean, it includes verbal ability. Some people call it verbal ability, some people call it verbal logic, right? So these two areas you've just seen are important for you. Now, in addition, if you're preparing for OMETs, okay, for the other management entrance test, let's say you're preparing for SAT, okay, or IFT or NMAT, then these two areas also become important for you, vocabulary and grammar, because OMETs ask direct questions from these areas. So this is your overall syllabus. If you're focusing just on CAT, if you want me to focus today just on CAT, then these are the two indispensable areas that you have to prepare for. Indirectly, these two areas also help you for CAT. Okay, indirectly they'll help you for CAT as well. So it makes sense to actually prepare for them. So CAT VARC, as I said, has RC passages and verbal ability, and you have to prepare for both. How? We'll talk about that. Okay. Now, see, I've written this here also because, as I said, they indirectly help you even in CAT. Okay, if your vocabulary is good, you will sail through very smoothly through your RC passages and even your para completion, para summary questions. If in a para jumble you don't understand the word in the sentence itself, how will you arrange it? Right? So, vocabulary, grammar, they help you for your verbal ability as well, for your RCs as well. Okay, but I think a lot of you know what I have already told you. So now let's talk about how many RCs should you attempt, how many VA questions should you attempt. Can you leave, let's say, RCs altogether? Can you leave one RC and attempt three of them? Right. So let's have a look. If I look at various CAT papers, see all of these CAT papers, I'm talking specifically about VARC right now. Okay, so the total marks have been different in different years. So 2018, 2019, there were more questions. So 102 marks. Okay, 2020, 78. And then from 2021, we've had 72 marks for VARC. So divided by 3, how many questions? 24 questions. Right. Now, as you can see, you got a 99 at 38.5. Okay, so if you look at it in percentage terms, it's not a big ask, right? Tell me, is it a big ask? So we are asking a little over 50%. Yes, 52, I think 52, 54 कुछ ऐसा आएगा. Calculate कर लेना, right? इतना marks चाहिए हमको. And in case, this also seems like a tall task right now, okay? Look at this. Look at this 95 percentile aim. If let's say currently you are at an 80, 85, 90, I'm sure all of you want to reach this zone so that you have a even if VRC is not your strength, this is a very safe percentile. It's a good percentile that even if you on some day mess up one section slightly, if you have let's say a 95% percentile in VRC, you still may have a good shot at some of the good IIMs. So that you got at a 29 out of 72. So 29, what does it mean? How many questions am I asking? Basically 10 net correct. 10 net correct out of 24. Now, I know that 10 net correct does not mean that you will attempt just 10 questions. So let's say you attempted 13 questions, right? 13 questions you attempted. So out of those, you got 11 correct. Or let's say if your accuracy is not that high, you attempted 14 questions. Okay. And out of that, you got 12 correct. So see, 36 minus 2. अच्छा ये तो ज़्यादा हो गया. एक मिनट. Sorry, हमें 29 ही चाहिए था ना. I guess I was a little confused there. So let's say we got 11 correct. ठीक है. So हमारा accuracy इतना high नहीं है. Out of 14, I got 11 correct. So 33. Now minus the incorrect ones, that is 3. I've got a score of 30. I've got a 95 plus percentile. So out of 14 questions, you have to get 11 correct, let's say. So I think what I'm asking for is a less than 80% accuracy. And with practice, if I am giving you the liberty of leaving 10 questions here, okay, leaving 10 questions here, then you can get this accuracy. So a 95 percentile is not at all difficult. And in case you are aiming for a 95 percentile, now we'll talk that how many RCs should you leave, how many RCs can you leave. It all depends on what you are aiming for. So if you're aiming for a, let's say a 95 percentile, you have to attempt 14 questions. Then, let's say four of them come from your VA. Okay. Only 10 of them have to come from RCs, right? That means I'm talking about attempting, let's say, 3 RCs here. Yes, in that case, you may think of leaving 1 RC, provided your accuracy is good. If you're aiming for a 99 percentile though, then I do not recommend leaving even 1 RC. I recommend being selective out of those RCs. So for instance, the easy ones, you attempted all the questions, 4 on 4. For the easy to moderate one, let's say you attempted 3 questions, or let's say for the moderate one, 3 questions. If we have a moderate to difficult or a difficult one, let's say you attempted 1 or let's say 2 questions. So this is the strategy that, in my opinion, you should follow. Never go for an all in or all out approach. That's my way of thinking. And it is also keeping in mind that I am aiming for a 99 plus. Okay. So that's my recommendation to you. Sri has a good suggestion there. If you try for 3 RCs plus all 8 VA questions, then yes, that may also help you. Okay. And in case you're aiming for a 99, I would say attempt all of them. Just be selective while attempting the questions. Right? In VA, yes, you can be selective when it comes to, let's say, the theta parajumbles. For again, depending on whether it is your strength or weakness. So let's say you've attempted 5, 6 marks, you realize that, okay, this is my strength. Definitely attempt them because there's no negative marking. In case you realize, no, it's not my strength, it's my weakness, be selective. Let's say you attempt only 2 out of 3, you leave 1. Okay. And in those 2, you give relatively more time so that it increases your chances for accuracy. So your strategy is very personal. However, you should keep in mind these numbers. Okay, you should keep this in mind that we are not asking you to achieve a 72 out of 72. And these are very much achievable, these numbers, right? So this is what you should keep in mind when you practice, when you take a mock. Okay, let's look at the chat box again. So Vaishnav, I hope this answers your query. Okay. Now, philosophy topics are too hard for me. So, Gaurav, you've already identified the problem. You are way ahead of a lot of students who don't even know what their problem is. So, that means what you should do is that you should solve previous year philosophy RC passages. So, CAT also in the previous years has asked such passages, solve them. It will actually tell you where you stand, because it's very easy to think philosophy mere liye tough hai. But it is not that philosophy RCs are always going to be difficult, or all of the questions from those RCs are going to be difficult. And if that is the case, see, I'm not saying that that may not be the case. Let's say all philosophy RCs are difficult for you. Then what you can do is read some articles on philosophy. Right. Every day, make it a point that you'll read at least 2 articles based on philosophy. It will make you relatively more comfortable in those passages. Okay. I took 6 marks in starting. I wasn't able to figure out what's going on. Gradually, from the last 3 marks, scores are getting better. I'm able to get 20 to 23 marks in VRC. That's good. That's good. Okay. A 23 here means you're already 90 plus, 90 percentile plus in your actual exam. Okay. So, see, Vaishnav is an example for you that initially things are messy. Okay. Had it been easy, everybody would have cracked it. So, initially things are going to be messy. You will not be able to figure out, okay, what is happening. I used to think English was my strength, but what is happening in VRC? A lot of students tell me this. So, gradually you realize that it is as much about English as it is about logic. Gradually you realize how to eliminate, what to attempt, what not to attempt. So, you have to devote 3 to 4 mocks to it to be able to come to that understanding. Okay? All right. Uh, 3 RCs. What should be the ideal time to do an RC? If you're targeting 3 RCs, oh, that's then you have 10 minutes per RC, right? 9 to 10 minutes per RC you have if you're targeting just 3 RCs. See, okay. All right. We need 13 net correct. We need 13 net correct for a 99 percentile, provided the difficulty level remains similar to last year, right? What should be the speed for that? Speed for, could you repeat your question, Vaishnav? Okay. If targeting 4 RCs, it's simple mathematics. Okay, let me just take you to the next page and have some blank space there. See, 30 plus 10. That's how I would suggest that you divide your time in a in the VARC section. So out of 40 minutes, 30 to RCs, 10 to VA. Now again, this is not written in stone anywhere. Okay, if let's say your accuracy in VA is exceptionally high, then of course devote more time to it, right? That means this is your strong area, so it deserves relatively more time. So you decided on the basis of what your strong areas are. I feel that okay, because I attempt all four RCs, because RCs are my strength also, and I'm playing mainly on RCs, right? So I give 30 minutes at least to my RC passages. At least क्या उससे ज़्यादा नहीं देती मैं, because 10 minutes are needed for VA. See, VA has 8 questions and they demand your time. So 10 minutes are needed for them. So this breakup is my suggestion. And of course, now you can just do mathematics. If you're attempting 4 RCs, 7.5 to 8 minutes per RCs, not more than that. Okay, not more than that. So this is how I divide my time in VRC. This is what I would suggest to you if you're targeting a 99 plus. Okay, now institution wala cat 22 institution. Yes, it was a difficult RC, I agree, but the questions were easy. See, so Shri has actually given you an example. You can all go to that cat 2022 passage on institutions. This was in slot 2. Okay, the passage was slightly difficult to comprehend, slightly philosophical. Slightly क्या philosophically था, right? But when you came to the questions, you realized that 3 out of 4 questions were easy. So it was worth reading the RC. Okay, now let's see how much percentage wise you need to score a 99 percentile. So basically this will give you an idea of a rough idea of the level of difficulty also over the years. So in CAT 2018C, you needed a 73.5% marks to score a 99 percentile. Okay, 73.5% marks आने चाहिए थे, ये score होना चाहिए था. 2019 it fell, 2020 it fell, 2021 it rose a little. Okay, probably now this is a probability that students found the section to be relatively easier, or it is also a probability that the students practiced on the 2020 pattern and 2021 reduced a couple of questions. So that is also a possibility. So because of that, the percentage that you required to score a 99 rose in 2021. It again fell in 2022. See, 2022 में 99 percentile के लिए बस 53.4% marks चाहिए थे. That means you needed an accuracy of 53.4% marks to score a 99 percentile. Now, what was the difference between 21 and 22? What I felt while taking the exam was that definitely the VARC section was slightly more difficult as compared to 2021. Why? Because we saw one philosophy RCs. So if you open your 2022 slots, you will find one philosophy RC at least in every slot, and in some slots there were even two. So we had philosophical RCs. And another thing was that I saw that a couple of RCs here and there, so let's say one RC in every slot, was from a research journal. Okay, a research magazine or a research journal. Usually the difficulty level of a research journal or a research magazine, it tends to be relatively higher. Language का जो difficulty level होता है वो थोड़ा सा higher होता है. So this is something that I observed in CAT 2022. So, but the bottom line is that you just needed a little over 50% to score a 99 percentile. It is not unachievable. Okay, that's what I will tell you. Okay, and that's why you should all target it. Okay, that would be my suggestion. If not 99, if let's say your quant and LRDI are your strong areas and this is your weak area, you can still comfortably target a 94, 95 percentile in VRC. Okay. आई एम सॉरी कैट 2022 आपको विजिबल नहीं है शायद, एक मिनट. इट्स जस्ट दैट माय फ्रेम इज अ लिटिल टू बिग. I think it's better now, as good as it can be. Right. Now, coming to your queries again. For quant and DILR sets, we get a solution after I attempt. But for RC, for marking the option, I feel worried whether it's correct or not. Why can I not be 100% sure as compared to QA? So Sri Harsha, that's a problem that a lot of students face, and it's a good question. The thing is, there's always a difference between numbers and language. See, language cannot be as scientific and as objective as, let's say, mathematics or natural sciences for that matter, biology, chemistry, physics. So that is why that room of doubt remains. Also, because these questions, see, any math problem will have one definite answer that you can show through solving. Whereas in RC passages, the solving is verbal logic based solving, right? It's not some methodical steps that you're following. And it's also based on human judgment, because till now human beings create your cat paper. Okay, so it's based on human judgment, and that is why that room of uncertainty exists. But if you follow the elimination approach religiously, okay, then apart from one to two questions, trust me, in CAT also, you will not be doubtful about the clear answers to the other questions, right? So if let's say this is happening with you for a lot of questions, for a majority of the questions, that means currently you haven't built that judgment that we need to build to eliminate. So how can you build this judgment? A couple of methods. First thing is that you should see, always analyze why I got this wrong, why was my option wrong, why was the option given in the given as the answer correct, how is it superior to the one that I marked. Then see, was I even close enough, was I at least, did I at least narrow down to the two close options, right? So first is analyze, then see whether you narrowed down to the two close options. In case you didn't, and in case that's happening for a particular question type again and again, you need to go back to the drawing board and see the concept or the approach to that question type. अगर मुझसे बार बार मेन आइडिया क्वेश्चन में ही एरर होता है, ओके, and I'm not even able to narrow down to the two close options, then probably my concept of it is not clear, my approach to it is not clear. So I need to go back and see, okay, so you know that there is an approach to each question type, right? In RC passages, it's not random. So I need to go back to the drawing board and see how am I approaching it wrong? How should I approach it rather? So that's how you can actually eliminate what is happening right now. Okay, now lot of yes, Shri, I absolutely agree. Okay, it was so annoying to have so many double negatives. For instance, I'll tell you about a question. It said, all of the following are false. No, all of the following strengthen this argument. All of the following weaken this argument except. Okay. No. That is one negative only. None of the following weaken this argument except. There was this question. Okay, I distinctly remember in CAT 2022. It's a double negative. There's none also, there's except also. Right? You have to really figure out the question stem. That's half the battle won. Question पूछ क्या रहा है, आपको एक clarity होनी चाहिए. वो कैसे आएगी? Through practice. In our mocks, we ensure that we include such questions with double negatives. Okay, because we know that you will be asked these, or you have been asked these in 2022 and in 2021 as well, right? Okay, I'm now going to show you the slide. Okay, so focus on CAT 2023. If I come to what you should focus on, it's very simple. See, I'm not going to give you some complicated fundas today. You have to focus on two things: reading as much as you can, solving as much as you can. Reading how, what, we'll talk about it. Solving how, what, again, we'll talk about it. Right? So it's an entirely reading based paper when it comes to CAT. There's no grammar, there's no vocabulary as such. You just have to read and comprehend, read and comprehend. Okay. So that's what you have to learn to do. Okay. Now, what should you read? Yes, a question that's as old as the CAT exam, right? In fact, older than that. So I just noted down all the genres that came in CAT 2022, just to give you a glimpse of what is the latest trend. Okay. So philosophy, see, it has been popular. It was popular in CAT 2022. culture, topics like culture, religion, sociology, anthropology, history. So you see, social sciences have been pretty popular, right? This is social science. This is a social science. Okay, a part of social science. So these have been quite popular. And the next that has been popular is science and tech. So please make sure that you're reading these genres, right? In fact, I'll not just talk to you about CAT 2022. Here's a genre-wise analysis from 2018 to 2022. I know that a lot of you who are enrolled with us already have this information, but those who are not, this is for you. See this. Sociology and anthropology has been a very dominant genre from 2018 to 2022. 23.2% of your RCs. So make sure that you're reading articles related to these. You're solving passages that are from these genres. Ecology, zoology, biology. So basically sciences and especially biology. See, zoology, ecology, bio ka hi part hai, right? So again, pretty popular. Because the environment is a very, what changes are happening because of climate change, all the floods that all these countries, all of our countries, such as Japan, US, China, uh, parts of Spain, right, North India, the floods that happened, it is being said that it's a result of climate change only. So a very popular, a very important, pertinent topic of our times, right? You should prepare on that. Then read articles related to psychology and philosophy, because 7 passages out of 56 in the last, just count the number of years, have been from philosophy and psychology, right? So I hope this makes sense to you. The dominant genres have been these four primarily, and of course there are some miscellaneous genres that we couldn't really place into these major categories, so we call them others. But these four genres are very important for you, right? Do prepare for them. ओके, सो ये तो प्रॉब्लम हमें सॉल्व करनी है वैष्णव, जो लास्ट के टू आपसे रह जाते हैं, राइट? लास्ट के टू में जो प्रॉब्लम्स होते हैं, दिस इज द जज, दिस इज वेयर योर जजमेंट कम्स इन. सी द एग्जामिनर ऑल्सो, व्हेन आई क्रिएट कंटेंट, व्हेन आई क्रिएट क्वेश्चंस फॉर यू, आई ऑल्सो मेक टू इजी ऑप्शंस because we want you to be able to eliminate two options, right? It's the other two where your judgment, where your practice reflects, okay, where your practice comes into the picture. So keep solving, after solving about 6, 7 mocks, after solving, or let's say 7 4s are 28, 30 RC passages, you yourself will notice there will come an inflection point that you are now able to operate within the ambit of an RC passage. कि आपको समझ में आ रहा है कि अच्छा ये क्यों eliminate हुआ है या ये क्यों eliminate करना है. Your accuracy becomes better after 28, 30 RCs. I've noticed this in students. So this is something that's a skill. It happens with time. Okay, where can you get all these articles? Okay, a good question. That's what my subsequent slide is about. So, what have been the sources of your CAT RC passages? This is what we have noticed. Sorry, I'm sorry. Global or international magazine articles. So, I'll show you the names of the magazines also. But still listing some of them here. Eon, Smithsonian Mag, then The Economist. Apart from this, no, not BBC.com, Forbes magazine, The Atlantic recently, The Atlantic, right? These are e-magazines and these have been the sources of your CAT RC passages. International newspaper editorials. So the Guardian and the NYT have been popular sources of your CAT RC passages. And lastly, book excerpts. A very major chunk in the last 5 years has been from book excerpts, non-fiction books. Okay. So these have been the sources of your CAT RC passages. Now, what should you read? I'll just give you the major sources, right? See, these, apart from, of course, books, these have constituted what, 18 plus 5. Okay, no, sorry. 9 plus 9, 18, 18 plus 5 कितना हुआ? Okay, there's a reason I don't teach quant. All right. So, 23% of your RC passages, they have been from NYT, Eon Essays, Smithsonian Mag, and just add the Guardian to it. Okay, just add the Guardian also to this list. Both of them are international newspapers. Both their editorials have formed sources of your RCs. So these are your major sources. बस इतना ही पढ़ लो. Aeon and Smithsonian are completely free. The Atlantic also has, I think, a lot of articles free. It used to. I'm not sure. I'm not so sure now. Okay. So जो भी जहाँ पे भी आपको out of these sources that I suggested to you, let's say you get just one free article in these per month. At least read that one free article. No, read the others from Aeon and Smithsonian Mag. If you get one free article here, just read one free article every month. Right? Read the others from this. And some other sources also for science and tech specifically. Scientific American is one, and The Scientist is also one. The Scientist. There's also one called The New Scientist. I'm trying not to overwhelm you with sources. Okay, इतना ही पढ़ लो उतना बहुत है. Okay, so The Scientist, Scientific American, The New Scientist. There's a magazine called The Conversation. Okay, so these have been the sources. Okay, all right. So this is about your sources. And see, Sonali already knows about these. Good, Sonali. And I hope, see, there is no dearth of knowledge or information in the age that you live in. Your age is the age of information. Implementation is the problem. There are so many distractions that students just amass all this information, but then they don't go back and read these articles. Then there's no point. Then your attending the session is a waste. Okay, please be regular. VARC demands you to be regular. Okay, you can't think that, okay, in the last 1 month or 2 months, I'll focus myself completely on VRC. Let me now focus on quant and DILR. It doesn't work that way. You need balanced prep. So, fortunately, these have also been the common sources of your VA questions, your para jumbles, your para completion, your para summary. इनके भी ये common sources हैं. So, if you prepare for one, if you're reading for RC passages, you're ultimately reading for your VA as well. Okay, that's such a relief. Okay. So now in RCs, I'm sure again that a lot of you know this, but just reiterating this, what all skills that you have to build for CAT VARC. This is for both RC passages and VA. Comprehension. Till the time you don't understand a paragraph, how will you summarize it? So comprehension is the key. That's why initially, if you have not started yet, if you're going to start now, initially focus on accuracy. Okay, straight away don't think that I'll be speedy also and I'll be accurate also. See, when we start exercising, our initial focus is on our form, right? That we are doing the exercise right. Then we start focusing on the number of repetitions that we are making. Okay, how much time are we doing it for? वो सब later आता है. पहले अगर आपकी form ही ठीक नहीं है, तो जितना भी repeat कर लो. Yes, so initially focus on accuracy. And therefore, let's say if you take a mock this month and you haven't taken any mocks earlier, then if you feel VRC is your weak area, maybe attempt just 2 out of 4 RCs. Okay, that means you get double the time per RC, but try to focus on getting these questions, getting these answers accurate. Try कि हर RC में 3 out of 4 correct हो जाए, या 250% accuracy तो at least आए ही आए. That's something that I think is achievable also, because at least one question is going to be pretty easy from every RC. One question will be pretty easy, and one question will also be on a very easy to moderate level on the easier side, right? So that is what our focus should be initially. Then incorporate the speed element to it gradually. So let's say from the next month, today is 18th. Okay, for the coming days, you practice 2 RCs every day and you focus on accuracy. Then if you feel that, okay, now my accuracy is improving, then incorporate the speed element from August. Right. And very, very important, this is a skill that you have to build. Although your RC passages are not very long now, ठीक है, अब 500-550 word RC passages होते हैं, so not very long RC passages. Still, sometimes students lack retention. Their attention span is too low. So this is something that you have to build, that you're able to recall, okay, I read this piece of information in this paragraph. Maybe you don't recall the exact details. That's absolutely fine. You can always go back to that particular paragraph and reread. But at least this much you should retain, this much geographical retention should be there, that you recall, okay, para 2 mein ye information thi. Chalo, I'll now go back to para 2 and reread that paragraph. Right? So this retention you have to build. And in some of our earlier sessions, I've also talked about how you can build it. Okay, for one RC, for one article every day, if not an RC, for one article every day, after reading that article, just close that tab, close the newspaper, and recall all the key ideas. Okay, do it for at least 21, 22 days, right? And initially, you will feel I'm not even able to recall koi sa bhi key idea. Okay, I'm not able to recall not more than two key ideas out of, let's say, five, six that were there. Gradually, your recall will increase. And if you keep up at it, you'll be able to even recall the key ideas in the order in which you read them. That's where we have to reach, right? So build these three skills, right? Comprehension, speed, retention. Now, uh, there's a reason. Okay, all right. Reading muscle has to be built. Yes, absolutely correct, Shri. So Shri, ideally, what I suggest is that your reading speed that is required for CAT is 250 words per minute. Okay. So we want that you're able to finish reading an RC passage in two, and let's say अब अगर हमें और भी ऊपर थोड़ा सा जाना है, if we want to stretch it a bit, at the most 2.5 minutes, that's what we want. So that's where we should try to reach. Okay, so right now it's 3, you can gradually do it, you can gradually reduce it to 2. It's very much achievable from where you are right now. Okay, ऑल राइट, अब बात करते हैं एक स्पेसिफिक प्लान की कि what should we do, right? What exactly should we do? So currently today is the 18th, right? Let me just use a different color. तो आज है 18th, ठीक है. Now 2 weekends are going to come, right? I want you, I mean, again, it's your choice, I'm not prescribing it to you like a didactic teacher, right? A vocabulary word right there for you. But so my suggestion is one mock a week you should take in the coming weeks, okay, of July. So let's say you took a mock on 22, you analyzed it on 23, then you took a mock on 29, you analyzed it on 30th. Analysis is very important. You will not leave any mock unanalyzed. That's a mock wasted if you do that. So that's why this is my suggestion. Okay, you can just tweak the days according to you. 2 mocks should happen now in the coming weeks of July. And every single day for the remaining days, every single day you should practice at least 2 RCs. How many? At least 2 RCs. If you do that, you approximately, I think, you 130 days. Okay, and I know this because I counted it right before coming to the session. So that's 260 RCs, right? This is in addition to the mocks that you're going to take. I am not counting your mocks wale RCs there, okay? I'm not counting mock RCs here. So let's say you took 25 mocks, okay, 4 RCs per mock, that's 100 more. So by the time we reach 26th November here, you would have solved about 360 RC passages, which is a good enough number for the 4 RCs that you're ultimately going to tackle on the day of the exam. ठीक है, this much is clear to everyone, step by step approach. Okay. Then so then when we come to August, you can again keep the same momentum. Let's say one mock per week. For August and September, you can follow this same approach. One mock per week, solving, analysis. And see, when you reach August, August 19 or August end, you will have realized a couple of things. What are my strengths? Okay, is RC my strength? Okay, or is VA my strength? What are my weaknesses? Is, let's say, a theta parajumble a weakness for me or a strength? So what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Okay, in which order I should attempt questions? Should I start with RC? Should I start with VA? Right. What mistakes am I making? Is a particular question type really challenging for me? Is there a particular genre that I'm not comfortable with? So by the time you reach August end, you'll be able to answer these questions if you practice at least 2 RCs every day and if you solve ye sare mocks that I'm suggesting. So that's why I'm calling it a building and executing stage. So you are executing, okay, and side by side you're building your concepts also, addressing these weaknesses also. Now, when you come to September, you would have realized all these things and you'll start implementing these on in mocks, right? You'll start implementing all of this in mocks, which will help you to advance your score. आपका score you'll notice कि धीरे धीरे maybe score में थोड़ा सा improvement आ रहा है but आ रहा है. So September end तक you'll notice this, right? That you're able to manage your mock better, manage the questions better in the section, right? And in October, November, you can go full throttle. You can take 2 mocks, but never take more than 2 mocks per week. That's my suggestion. That's too many mocks because you have to spend some time in analyzing them also, no? So let's say you devote your Wednesdays and your Saturdays like this. Okay. And I think 22 के बाद तो mock मतलब 23 max mock ले लेना उसके बाद तो मत ही लेना, right? So 2 to 3 days before the exam, I don't think you should take a mock or you should study a lot. You should just revise formulae, etc. So, does this make sense? Yes. So, I'm sure you have a lot of sectional tests with you. You have previous year papers with you. You have your mocks with you. So, you have enough material. You just need to sit and practice. Right? Okay. Now, I'll address this Vaishnav. 10 out of 12 questions. That's very good accuracy. It's a good accuracy. So, Shri, I think if this is your accuracy right now, see what percentile you are scoring currently with it, right? And try in a mock that you, not in a mock actually, try when you read your 2 RCs every day, or if you're reading more than that, try to increase the speed slightly more and see what happens. Okay, does the accuracy go down? Let's say, because sometimes what happens if I attempt 3 more questions, even if I get 2 incorrect, right, but I get this 1 correct, that's still 1 mark gained, right? So each mark is important for us. So see what exactly is happening when you do that and accordingly decide whether you want to increase your reading speed or not. I think you can improve. If this is your accuracy, then I think you can reach there. 2.5 minutes maybe you can reach. Right? Vaishnav, I'll address your query in a while. Just, I mean, towards the end, I'll address your query. Okay? So some things that you should do every day. This was about solving, right? I completely focused on solving till now. What about reading? Reading has to happen every single day for at least 20 minutes. It is nothing. Trust me, 20 minutes is nothing. This is the bare minimum that I'm asking you. But I am asking this keeping in mind that you have other sections to prepare for, some of your working professionals. That's why, I wrote 20 minutes here. Otherwise, if you ask me, I would say 40 minutes because you will be sitting and reading and comprehending and solving in your VRC section for 40 minutes. That's how I feel that, okay, you should read for 40 minutes every day. But ठीक है, अगर नहीं हो पा रहा उतना time, then at least 20 minutes is something that's a must for everybody. In this span, you can read articles, you can read non-fiction books, but please read diverse genres. That's the request because you get diverse genres in the exam. Solve at least 2 RCs every day, and apart from that, solve at least 3 VA questions every day. Now, what is the logic behind this? Again, 3 VA questions, that's 390 questions right here. Yes. So, I think that's a very good number for the next few, if you, for the, till CAT, if you solve 3 VA questions every day, right? And after attempting them, you also have to see why your answer was incorrect, what is the rationale behind the correct answer. You have to look at these things. So that's why I felt that I should give you this much. I think this will take 20 minutes. Then let's say solving 2 RCs, that will take about 30 minutes in solving and analyzing, right? And this will take about 10 minutes in solving and analyzing both. So I'm giving you a plan that will take 1 hour of yours every day, right? Reading plus solving. And this will give you ample time for your other sections also. I think I've stated this. I cannot emphasize it enough. You have to take mocks. There is no alternative. Right? Okay. Now, since some of you do ask me regularly for book suggestions, and especially for non-fiction, these are some of my suggestions. They cover different genres, right? So, psychology and philosophy, because they have researched in the last, I think, 3 years. That's why three of my suggestions are spanning that. Science and sociology, because they're important topics. That's why two other suggestions from there, and one from history. I like this book. That's why. Okay. So, these are my suggestions for you. All right. Now, let me address your questions, right? Before I come to things to remember. Um, okay, 4 to 5 minutes. So, Vaishnav, that means if you're taking 4 to 5 minutes right now, that means probably there's a lack of reading on a daily basis. Because when you read with a target in mind every day, let's say you comfortably read 10 pages in 10 minutes, just making an assumption there, then every day give yourself a target that I'll read 11 pages, okay, today in 10 minutes. अभी 10 हो रहा था, तो आज मैं टारगेट दूंगी अपने आप को कि मैं 11 पढूं. Then for 4 5 days I'll keep up at it. Okay, I'll try to reach this and I'll try to maintain it. Once I'm able to reach there, I'll probably increase it to 11.5 pages. So that way, practice this target based 20-minute reading every day minus any distractions. Gradually, you'll notice आपको उतना भागना ही नहीं पड़ रहा to read these 11.5 pages. This has become your comfort zone speed now. Okay, so that's how you increase your reading speed by practicing target based reading every single day, reading at a stretch without any distractions with a target in mind. Keep these three things in mind. Okay, all right. That's good, Shri. That's good. Amazing, Sonali. Amazing. Okay, that's amazing. Yeah, I've started reading Sophie's World. Okay, good, Arshad. It's a good book. You'll enjoy it. Past year papers, yes. Actually, I suggest it to all of you. When you attempt past year papers, it gives you a different level of confidence. Okay, because you feel okay, this is the actual level, and I'm able to solve so many of these. Even though, let's say, you may not have covered quite a lot of syllabus in quant. That's possible that you have not done some of the concepts till now. Okay, even though, let's say, you may not have studied all the, let's say, graphs and etc. that are there to LRDI. Still, when you're able to solve some such questions from your past year papers, when you're able to solve RCs from past year papers, it gives you a different level of confidence. So that's why everybody should solve past year papers. Okay. Now, some things that you should remember, and this is something that I am repeating. I've stated these in earlier sessions also. Excelling in VRC is different from being good at English. So don't hold this assumption that if you're good at English, see, a lot of us are good at English. A lot of us, thankfully, we have studied in English medium schools and we've been speaking and writing and reading in English for a lot of time now. But excelling in VRC is a lot about logic also. It's a lot about elimination also. So you have to master this elimination. Okay, apart from reading difficult material, you have to master this technique also. Don't forget. Another thing is that consistency matters. So, in case you think, okay, let me not solve any RCs for 1 month, as I stated earlier, and I'll solve double the amount in the next month. No, that doesn't work. You can't do that with your food. You can't do that with your exercise. You can't do that with your VRC also. Okay. Then, apart from that, there is a learning curve to some question types, especially your main idea question, your inference questions. You can't expect to get 100% accuracy in them from day one. That's a very unrealistic expectation to have, right? So give yourself, be gentle with yourself, that if you don't get them right on the first day, on the second day, please don't be harsh on yourself कि मुझसे तो हो ही नहीं रहा है. Just always ask yourself the why. या क्यों समझ नहीं आया मुझे, इसमें क्या समझ नहीं आया, and accordingly address that problem. Learn the approach to these questions, right? And what else? Practice within a time constraint makes a person perfect, right? You've heard this proverb. I'm just tweaking it a little. So this month, focus on the accuracy. From next month, gradually start, bringing in that time constraint. Okay. And keep practicing. It will make you perfect. Okay. Yes, you can take the past year papers as mocks. It's a very good way to practice, right? That's good, Shri. That's good. Okay. And importantly, learn to be intense and relaxed at the same time in throughout your preparation. Okay. Intense means focused. It does not mean that you're tense. No. If you're tense, if you are, if you know, if your practice is coming from a negative space inside you, then it will affect your performance also. So intense means you're focused, you are sincere, but you're approaching your prep with a positive mindset, that if so many students before me have done it, that means it's achievable and I can also do it, right? And relax. Now relax does not mean lax कि बहुत ही chilled out हो गया, अरे मेरी English तो बहुत अच्छी है, right? So relaxed does not mean that you become lax in your prep. No, it just means that you're able to have those pockets of calmness, that you don't panic, that you are consistent, you approach your prep with a positive mindset, you don't listen to fear mongering or any negative voices around you. That is what it means. So you need this. A lot of your exam, a lot of, taking that exam on that day is going to be a psychological process. So if you learn to manage that, you've already become a good manager, right? So be intense and relaxed at the same time throughout your prep, and I would say throughout your life. Okay, so that would be my suggestion to you. I understand, Sri, that it is a demanding process. You have to read and solve consistently for 40 minutes. Earlier, it used to be for 1 hour. So, you guys are lucky. Um, However, as again, as a manager, you'll have to read reports for a stretch. Okay. You'll have to read and interpret difficult material for a stretch. So it's just preparing you for that. It's preparing you for B school life and life beyond that. Right. And today, we live in a knowledge economy. Information, processing that information, knowledge is everything. Right. So you have to build that stamina by reading every day. Okay. So I hope this session helped you, and I hope you'll implement what I've told you. Right. I've given you a very specific plan, reduced your planning effort. So I hope you will just implement it. Right. And in case you want to know more about our pedagogy, our materials, then you can unlock your 3-day free trial. The link for this is in the description box. Best approach to learn vocabulary. We have this series called 500 most expected vocabulary words, 500 must know vocabulary words. You can attend that. 7-8 sessions have already happened. I talk about high frequency words there, right? The best approach is learning a word and then using it. Okay, that's the best approach. And solving previous year vocabulary questions, that's another good approach. Okay. In case you want cat mocks, right? You are wondering where to get cat mocks from, then we have this test series for you. It also has 55 non-cat mocks, 10,000 plus practice questions, and we give video solutions for all our mocks, right? So no room for a doubt as to why this is correct and that is wrong. So you can enroll in it now. These are our Cat 22 toppers. You know them, you've seen them a lot of times, and you can be one of them by joining this batch. Link again in the description box. Welcome, guys, welcome. And our effort is always to make our courses accessible for our students. That's why we have various scholarship programs. You access this scholarship through a scholarship test, which is on 23rd July next at 11 a.m. So do take it. And yes, if let's say you want a very comprehensive session on all the sections, how to get a 99 percentile cumulatively, and what all do I need in various sections for that, then you should attend this workshop on the 30th at 11 a.m. Right? Okay, I am in front of the, okay, I forgot that I'm in front of the slides. Anyway, now I've done most of it. So we are everywhere on social media. Please follow us, right? We keep sharing interesting information, which is of help to you, practical help to you. So do join us on various social media platforms. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Welcome, Balaji. Yes, catch you all later. You guys also take care. Bye bye. See you.